100 million years. That's how long green sea turtles have been swimming the Earth's oceans. They survived volcanic eruptions. They survived ice ages. They even survived the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. But none of those nearly wiped them out. Humans did. Millions of years ago, long before humans existed, an ancient sea reptile took a different path. It left the open ocean, moved into the shallow coastal waters, and evolved into a new kind of marine grazer. That species was the green sea turtle. Unlike most turtles, green sea turtles don't just live in the ocean, they shape it. They feed on seagrass, trimming like an underwater lawnmower, keeping it short, healthy, and growing. Without green sea turtles, seagrass becomes overgrown and dies. Fish lose their breeding grounds and carbon stored in the seabed is released into the atmosphere because everything is connected. What happens in the ocean doesn't stay in the ocean. It comes back to us. Long before scientists named them Chelonia Mydas, green sea turtles were already part of human history. For thousands of years, coastal communities across Africa, the Caribbean, and the Pacific lived alongside them, hunting them for food, respecting seasonal patterns, and relying on them for a steady source of survival. Archaeological sites around the world still hold turtle bones, evidence of a relationship that predates written history. But in 1503, when Christopher Columbus sailed past what now is the Cayman Islands, he recorded something extraordinary: waters so full of turtles that ships struggled to pass through. What indigenous communities had long known as a vital coastal species was about to enter a different chapter. Within a few generations, green sea turtles would shift from sustenance to commodity, and the ocean would never be the same. By the 1600s and 1700s, green sea turtles were no longer just a local food source. They had become global commodities. For centuries, green sea turtles were hunted for their fat, meat, and eggs. Their fat was used for oil. Their meat was eaten across the world. Their eggs were taken straight from the nesting beaches. A single nesting beach would be stripped of tens of thousands of eggs in one night. At the same time, they were drowned in fishing gear, hit by boats, coastal development destroying their nests. What followed was one of the most dramatic population declines ever recorded for a marine reptile. Once, green sea turtles filled the tropical oceans in the millions. But in just over a century of human exploitation, their numbers collapsed by 90%. By the late 20th century, they were officially listed as endangered. So people fought back. It was a slow process getting everyone on board, but nests were protected, fishing gear was redesigned, communities stopped harvesting eggs and started guarding nests. Scientists were studying migration and nesting behavior. Marine protected areas were created. In some regions, nest protection increased hatchling survival by more than 3 times. For the first time in centuries, green sea turtles were being given a chance. From fishing villages in Mozambique, to nesting beaches in Costa Rica, to scientists taking turtles in South Africa, and conservationists from the IUCN, WWF, and the Two Oceans Aquarium Foundation, humanity has been quietly fighting for their survival. And against all odds, it worked. After more than half a century in the brink of extinction, in October 2025, green sea turtles were downlisted from endangered to least concerned on the IUCN Red List, one of the greatest marine conservation victories in history, which is something the world can be proud of. Because it didn't happen by accident. It happened because the government enforced protection, because scientists tracked populations for decades, because coastal communities chose conservation over exploitation. This is proof that when humanity commits to protect a species and stays committed, recovery is possible. For over 100 million years, green sea turtles have crossed these oceans and they've survived a lot. And then they met us. For a moment in history, a brief, careless moment, it looked like we would be the thing they could not survive. But we changed. We chose protection over profit, patience over convenience, responsibility over greed. And because of that choice, they're still here, still rising from the sand under the moonlight, still swimming across entire oceans, still doing the quiet work that keeps our planet alive. Green sea turtles are proof that when humanity decides to protect something, we are capable of extraordinary repair. And if we can save a species that ancient, imagine what else we can save.